Amelia is involved.
One thing we know for sure, something funny's going on. Oh, this just keeps getting better and better.
You're the world's worst detective.
The world's worst.
March! Gun! Gun! Fuck! Shit!
Amelia, run!
I'm alive!
Welcome to another episode of Red Reviews. As you can tell by the intro, we checked out The Nice Guys today. And the thing I loved most about this movie is the fact that we look just like the main stars. I don't know who I look like more. I'm going to say Ryan Gosling. You got a little more Russell Crowe vibe going on.
Oh,
But
yeah.
other than that, I was just like, Dad, if we were in the 1970s, I think this could be us.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he was slightly chunky, so yeah, I'm up there.
And I'm a ladies' man, just like Ryan Gosling.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if Ryan Gosling did this. That's my impression of Ryan Gosling being a ladies' man. So, as we were saying out of the movie, I came out with a big smile on my face. You were a little more hesitant, and we thought this might be the movie that divides us a little bit.
Yeah.
I had a good time with this movie.
Yeah.
You, I think, had a good time, but not as much of a good time
Yeah.
as I did. So I'll let you start first.
Well, it was. I thought it was a good movie. It had its ups and downs and stuff like that. But the thing is, overall, I did enjoy it. But there was some stuff in it that just drove me just crazy. There was just like the scenes that they had with the person that they were searching for. She was kind of a pointless character. I mean, she ends up getting, spoiler, dead. And the thing is, when she was there, she was kind of like, oh, I tell you stuff that you already know, and just to confirm things. And then all of a sudden she leaves because she was on drugs because, she was doing other things. And I don't know. She just seemed like a pointless character to me. I mean, every other character in it was amazing. They had plots in there that we didn't, know about at first. And then we build to, see all these characters, and then they felt like they were there. They felt like, hey, this is the 70s, and that's what I liked about it. But the thing is, there was just certain things that I didn't like. So what about you on that?
We've hit the American Idol niche right here, where you're the Simon Cowell and I'm the Paula Abdul, and now I'm going to save it with saying only nice things. You ever watch that show? She only says nice things, and Simon Cowell's always mean. So I'm the Paula Abdul here.
Yeah.
Where I actually laughed at this movie more than I did some comedies, and it has more action than some of the action movies I've seen in a while. I wanted a nice detective story that took me through kind of twists and turns, and I had to figure it out along with them. You were saying that we could kind of see the ending coming, so it wasn't like a pure twist at the end. You're like, oh, I did not see that. How are they going to figure this one out? So you can kind of go along with them, and at the end, you're almost one step ahead of them.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you're going along with them. One thing I really liked about this movie is more so than there's a third member of the team, kind of, beyond Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, and that's Ryan Gosling's daughter. And two things that I will probably complain about in movies if you watch our channel long enough is unnecessary romances, which stems from Mary Jane being super annoying in the Spider-Man movies.
Oh, yeah.
And just that's where that hatred grows from, is when heroes or characters have to go out of their way to rescue someone who's been kidnapped for no apparent reason than the fact that they're the love interest or child, just for the sake of, oh, now I'm in trouble, I'm the damsel in distress, or that's my character's reason for being there.
Yeah.
Which is another reason that I hate the love interest and I hate the children.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're just like, we're here to get kidnapped, and now we can move things along from here. This girl was not that at all.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I said, she's kind of like a third member of the team.
Yeah.
And if not for her in this movie, I think we make it about halfway through, and then the movie would kind of stop because, of course, Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, they have their problems. They're not the nice guys right away, so they butt heads a lot. And she kind of manipulates them and kind of plays them against each other, so they're forced to work together. And she's actually a pivotal character, and she does almost just as much investigating, if not more investigating, while trying to find this missing girl. than even Ryan Gosling does, and he's the private investigator of the
Yeah,
group.
I know.
So
Jeez. I mean, it could have been just mostly about her.
yeah,
I would have loved it, some more.
and she is kind of an emotional anchor for Russell Crowe's character, who is kind of beyond the point of people at this point. He
Yeah.
doesn't sympathize or empathize with anyone, and she kind of brings him back to this side.
Yeah.
So her character is actually very important. And if they would have cast a wrong actor, actress to play that role, it also could have fell apart. I didn't know who this girl was. She was an unknown, and she did just fine. I think she's got a future ahead of her.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's going to be a lot more, movies that people are going to want her in. And hopefully she does get movies because actors and actresses always, start small, and she started in a good one. And I think it'll hit a home run if she does another one. So, yeah, you're right about that one. I actually agree with that.
I hope we get a nice guys too. Nicer guys.
Yeah, nicer guys. There you go. Don't have to do the two.
Yeah. So there's not really much to spoil. It's just like we could tell you the end and who the villain is, but then you'd have to just get into really the plot would just be so hard to get involved in with the car manufacturing company, and we're looking for this girl, and to get that, it's basically a basic detective movie. We have a missing person, and everything is not quite as it seems, and then the villain turns out to be the person that hired us, and people die along the way, and friends become enemies, and they become friends. Your basic detective story. Yeah. So there's not much to spoil there in that department. It's just kind of the adventure that they go on. The 70s is a perfect setting for this, where it's kind of the birth of the drug scene. The Mary Jane. He doesn't know what Mary Jane is when he refers to it. It's kind of the birth of film in different areas, such as the pornography business rising to power. The car companies rising to power. How we're supposed to treat the environment. So those things that are taking place at that time period push a lot of this story forward. That if the same story was written for the screen to take place in 2016, now it would have to be butchered and altered and changed so much that it needed to take place in this time period. So the time period suited the movie. It wasn't a sake of, hey, let's make a 70s movie. And when you make period pieces, of course, you run into the fact, well, how period are we going to get? Is it going to... And they did a really good job to, the billboards showing movies coming out for that era. The cars were all appropriate to the era. The news stories about the bees and the birds not being able to breathe, and car emissions and stuff like that. Just everything was appropriate to the time period, and the clothing, it all seemed very 70s appropriate. So they did a good job pulling off the 70s time period. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I think that they pulled off really good on also the weapons that they used in the film, because they weren't using newer weapons or military weapons. Well, some of them. But, the bad guy had, the high-end stuff because he had the money, because he was an assassin. So they did everything correctly for what people had, not let's get the biggest gun Dirty Harry did or something like that, and have the biggest magnum ever for the, main character. They didn't want to do that. They wanted to be more realistic on what a cop would have, or private investigator, sorry. But yes, that's who he was, a private investigator. And that made more sense with that. I'm kind of glad they did that too, because unrealistic stuff just make it, not make the film just cheap, So, I don't know.
We'll go and wrap it up. I'll be the one to say it this time.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's rated R. So if you're going to take your family to see it, be warned, there are things that make a movie R. They're not so much in your face, and by that I mean okay, there's nudity, but it's not graphic nudity. There's violence, but it's not, maybe once with the guy falling off the building, but not over the top, hardcore Henry in your face violence. There's language, but I wouldn't consider it vulgar. So you got those things to deal with, but it all kind of serves the story. Could it be a PG-13? You could tweak a few things here and there, and I'm sure it could be. But being part of the porn industry angle might have been a little bit tougher to tweak with. But I think it worked well as an R, but nothing that would have been oh my gosh. And especially in today's media, there's nothing that you're never going to see anywhere else on MTV or something like that. So I'm going to go and give the movie an A. I know you're going to disagree. So
well, yeah, I'm gonna give it probably a solid B plus. That's what I think. And I know it could have been better, but it's just there's certain points in it that just drove me crazy, because it was like they need to get to the next point and stuff like that. And I still liked it. I mean, go out and see it. It's worth going to go to theaters, see it in a great theater, and then you'll like it. But other than that, yes, I mean, it deserves it. But that's what I give it, a B plus.
All right. Well, until next time, I'm not sure what the next review is. There's so much stuff coming out this weekend. You can go see Neighbors
Yeah.
2. You can go see Angry Birds. You can go see The Nice Guys.
Mhm.
So it's going to be a good weekend for whatever you choose to see. I got to go to a wedding this weekend, so I'm going to try to get to as much as I can. I think Angry Birds might be the one I leave out. So
Mhm.
if I don't get to it until like later next week, I'm sorry. I don't. It's based on an app, so
Mhm.
it doesn't have much it can do to wow me.
Yeah.
So we'll catch you guys next time right here on Red Reviews.
Check out.